morning and welcome to Story Hour. I'm Laura Blackwell. My co-host Daniel Marcus started Story Hour way back in 2020 to help people stay connected by telling stories around this virtual campfire. We'd also like to thank SIFWA for the Givers Fund grant, which keeps that virtual campfire burning. Daniel is not here tonight, but I am here and we have a little sneak preview. Sam Rebeline, who will be hosting next week, is I don't know, backseat driving today, using your learner's
Yeah,
permit.
leaning into the front seat and offering directions and the drive-through order.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good.
Okay.
I know you like the curly fries,
I actually do.
and I just guessed. That's great. They're funnier, right?
There is something about the dunk into the ketchup is more satisfying when it's a coil, you know. But
Do you twist it too?
sometimes they're
Yeah.
delicate though because they can break off. We can discuss fried dunking techniques after the show for sure.
Okay, that's reasonable. Welcome back to those of you returning, and welcome to those of you joining us for the first time. As always, we have two writers reading from their own work. Tonight's readers are Tashan Mehta and D.A. Xiaolin Spires. If you are here on Zoom, feel free to chime in on the text chat if you like. If you're here on Facebook, you are also welcome to chime in on the text chat, but we may not be reading and getting back to you right away. You don't mind though, right? You don't. So our first reader tonight is D.A. Xiaolin Spires. D.A. Xiaolin Spires steps into portals and reappears in sites such as Hawaii, New York, various parts of Asia, and elsewhere, with her keyboard appendage attached. Her work appears or is forthcoming in publications such as Clark's World, Analog, Nature, Terraform, Uncanny, Starline, Liquid Imagination, and anthologies such as Makeshift, Ride the Starwind, the year's top robot and AI stories, and the year's top tales of space and time. Select stories can be read in German, Spanish, Vietnamese, Estonian, French, and Japanese translation. That's pretty cool. Her poetry has been nominated for the Dwarf Star, Riesling, Best of the Net, and Pushcart Awards. When not wielding a pen, or rather keyboard, she wields brushes while painting and weapons while teaching martial arts. I'd love to hear more about that. She has traveled widely and also writes academically and publicly about foodways, environmental issues, agriculture, and technology. One of her favorite pastimes is devouring stinky cheese, stinky tofu, and stinky durian with gusto. She can be found on Blue Sky at spires.bsky.social and her website, D.A. Xiaolin Spires at wordpress.com. Xiaolin Spires, welcome. Or should I be saying D.A.?
Oh, either is fine. Xiaolin is fine.
Okay.
And thank you so much for having me. And I forgot to mention that I'm also wielding a baby. So
Excellent. Well, wield the babies with care.
usually not at the same time as the weapons.
Okay, that's good. They are louder than most weapons. But if we get to see a baby, that's great. So I understand that you've brought us something that was printed in Uncanny.
That's right.
We would love to hear it whenever you are ready.
Okay, so I'll be reading, I hope you're hungry because I'll be reading Nutrition Facts. And it was published in Uncanny. I'm going to start. Nutrition Facts. I'm told that the recipe never changes. It's the same taro kanji day after day. No added powders or ingredients. The taste is supposed to be consistent with only a few shifts in nutrients. I palm the censoring pad and the vending machine squeezes it out from the robot with the mixing bowl behind the glass. It looks like one of those old carnival animatronic fortune teller machines that Mom used to talk about when she visited New Coney Island during her study abroad. I remember her telling me that there was one that shot out an Easter egg that told her that she and Dad would have me, but they would never be married. It was wrong about that. They did marry, but in the end, it didn't work out. So maybe they were only half wrong. Above those spectral glass eyes, high cheekbones, and the glued-on resting smile are the words Wei Na, a play on words Wei to maintain the first syllable in the transliteration of vitamin, and Na, elegant. She looks really that way too, maintained and refined, thin, delicate wrists, thick eyelashes made of ex-polypropylene, the same stuff they use to make confetti in yogurt containers, and a healthy, if not somewhat stiff glow to her Faberdeau lattice skin. Her look does have the tinge of the mechanical, except unlike the pre-programmed responses of archaic animatronics, she has integrated response designs pulled from algorithms of mass-populated knowledge bases. Her integrated response is now tapping at the glass, her lips hitched up and exuding a melodic inflection, asking me to pass her a ladle as the taro ink whips up an ice cream-like pyramid in the dispenser below. Clearly, the, quote, thinking mechanism instilled in her a sense of humor. She doesn't need a ladle for scooping when she has an apportioning tube hooked up from her mixing bowl. I chuckle and shake my head. Maybe next time. I open my hands and surrender. No ladle here. She takes her hand off the spatula of the mixing bowl and covers her mouth as she laughs. Ha ha. Her eyes blink twice, and if only the designers thought to program in mirth lines, she might be a little more convincing. It's a hollow sound of a laugh, but I kind of like it. She sends me the nutrition facts with the ping in an accompanying hollow that scrolls through on the backside of my palm as I gobble down a spoonful of the taro kanji. It has a vaguely earthy taste and hints of sweetness, but mostly it's just bland. Quote, vitamin A, 30%, vitamin C, 12%, vitamin D, 200%, potassium. The list goes on with a list of ingredients, polysaccharides, thickening agents, stabilizers, emulsifiers. And at the very end, Mama's love. That's one I've never seen before. Last week, it was sharing means caring. I started at that too, but this one has an operating word that makes me completely falter. The word loves runs into my thumb, the E projected onto my squarish nail. Wayward formatting and overlay that a company of this size would never make the mistake of doing. There's a bit of kanji stuck on my fingers and I give it a lick. It tastes more flavorful with the projection glowing on it. Maybe the flavors from my skin oils or the texture of my skin tricking my taste buds. I nod a-bye to Weina, who gives me a wink and tells me to come again tomorrow. Then she bows for the next customer and mixes, humming to herself. The hum is the melody I hear when I'm put on hold at every available moment of the holocall. The call lasts way too long. The company's auto receptionists never give me the response I want, and I get stuck in a holophone tree labyrinth, that melody dancing in my ears, my increasingly irate pleads meeting only a friendly average composite of a face who can't direct me further. I try hacking into internal and succeed with some numbers, but these lead only to a virtual mail rooms. There is no human there to give me a response. I scroll through message boards and bulletin pastes, and nobody seems to have experienced any strange memos lodged in their recipes. At least no one has reported it. I check the underlayers with the anonymous posts, all the dark places where people post their real dirt. Nothing. Their recipes check out. Usually they just scan your DNA, culled from skin oils, and give you food based off that. Once you get your first scan, it doesn't change much after that unless you've really shifted your own physiology. The recipes typically include some added vitamin D for the sunshine deprived, for those who spend too much time basking in virtual rays. A bit of vitamin C to boost the immune system since we're so lacking exercise, trapped in our day job ever seats. Just basic nutrient stuff that humans need. I come back to Weina day after day on eDocs orders. The taro kanji has soothed my headaches, but they say that my scans reveal that my complexion still looks a little bit off, my skin a bit too pasty, and my eyes still yellow. I might need this dose of taro kanji for the rest of my life, I'm told, but maybe it's just another way for healthcare to consistently siphon from my dwindling heap of yuan cred. Today's kanji, the bit that splashed onto my thumb when hit with the glow of the hollow message, tasted just like the red bean soup my mom used to make. It's weird. I know it's supposed to be taro flavored, but that lick left an impression on me. I scroll back to the hollow message with the nutrients and ingredients, staring at the E of love projected onto the nail of my thumb. I leave it glimmering there for 5 minutes like a talisman, unwilling to hit the reset button until it fades away on its own, as if dissipating into the air itself. I haven't experienced that taste since my mom passed, and we stored her consciousness away in the bank vaults, waiting for the day when the tech gets good enough to restore her. It was a befitting termination for a cybersecurity specialist like her, a skill I picked up from her through some proximal osmosis. The pre-funerary procedure was one that my dad sacrificed his savings for, even when her post-mortem affairs were no longer his business. He passed away without such a storage himself. He was never quite as adamant about tech as she was. But I know there was something in him that still cared for her enough to abide by her wishes. The message of love lasts a week. Every time I go, love comes at the end of the list, and then the hollow disperses, leaving me without a trace of this subversive text. A week later comes the next enigmatic message. Smiling, doting, rigid Wei Na and her litany of increasingly cryptic nutrition facts. Ping! Vitamin A, 30%, vitamin C, 12%, liberation, 22%, and some prosaic nutrition information, and then, you'd help if you could, right? Ping! Vitamin A, 35%, vitamin C, 15%, deliverance, 68%. Let out your inner self. Ping! Vitamin A, 40%, vitamin C, 10%, emergency, 88%. It's good for the soul. That final punctuation to the ingredient list ceases to be even a noun anymore, not even a veneer of an attempt that pretends to be the kanji's composition. More insistent, declaratives, and prescriptions, as arcane and yet blunt as the dispatch from a fortune cookie delivered by the meal self-carriers. When I let the hollow settle on the porridge and the residual taste reminds me of, respectively, her Sunday beef noodles, her Monday corn soup, her Thursday tossed scallop, her every so often silken tofu parfait, Mom's savory imprint changing by the day. The tune of the hum has changed on me too. Wei Na's soft but wooden expression is the same. But when I approach, her humming takes on this marching band sort of rhythm, like a call to action. It's very subtle, but I hear it, and when I tap on the glass, she taps back and laughs, again asking for a ladle. Perhaps it's just a joke, but maybe I should humor her, I think, as I lick off what tastes like steamed radish cake from my thumb, baked in cool, hollow message light. I go back into her boxes, stored in the recesses of my apartment, all the things I've been meaning to dematerialize so I can make more room for my stuff. Lots of ex-polypropylene materials I can bring to the waste center to melt and use as yarn creds for reprint. I pull out her old dusty ladle, not plastic, but metal, stainless steel. It shines when I rub off the grime. Not worth as much as stuff made from conventional stratifying ink, since repurposing metal would require more breakdown costs. Reasons for putting it off. Staring at the metal at my warped reflection in the concave surface, I grin. My flattened lips shift to a contorted curve before me. I'm glad I didn't get rid of this. I conceive of a plan. I reroute data feed for the cameras surrounding the nutrition dispenser vestibule through underlayer hacks. Somebody will likely find me out in a few weeks' time when they apply a patch. All the vulnerabilities eventually get patched, but for the moment I have an opening. I can figure it out from here. Step 1, done. Reroute and misdirect, check. I do steps 2 to 5, reconfiguring security anomalies, grabbing a blanket, a sound canceller, and other necessities and prepping what to wear. Choosing clothing options, easy. A black turtleneck to blend in with the night, check. Besides, don't all bandits wear black? Step 6 involves walking out into the public, even if the public is nothing but crickets in the dead of the night. My heart beats thinking about my upcoming infraction. Sure, I may have hacked some virtual sites in the past, but it was nothing compared to a real physical break-in. The air suddenly feels cold, and I wish I had brought a thicker jacket. Maybe some gloves. I knew I was missing something. I jump at a rustling sound and a vague, hazy, shifting shadow. I stop moving, my eyes focus. I breathe out a sigh. It's only wind passing through low-hanging leaves. The stainless steel arch of the ladle feels cool and slick in my hands. It has a slight smell of jasmine, her perfume, or maybe it is the night air itself emanating her scent. I approach the vestibule now with Wei Na and her mixing bowl and tap at the glass. I tap, tap, and tap. Wei Na's fixed and still now, her operating time long has since passed. Maybe I should come during the day, but then there would be more witnesses. I tap, tap, and tap. I scrape on the glass. I cringe. It's made of tough stuff. I could use other tools that I brought, but I refuse. I want to do this the way she dictated. I think about the word deliverance, the punchline to one of her previous nutrition information lists, and pull that day's hollow message and reflect it against the glass. Against this phantasmic glow, her smile through the glass looks almost ethereal. I tap at the glowing spot and hear a different sound, a tinkling pang. It resounds in the street, and for a second I worry about who I might be waking up. But it's pretty deserted, and no lights turn on from the distant apartment complexes. I pull out a canceller to muffle the sound, something I was too excited to do right away, blame nerves, and tap and scrape with the ladle, pretending I am mixing one of Mom's delicious Napa cabbage, ginseng, and lotus soups. It was my dad's favorite when they were still together. I tap, scrape, and press like a peacock's beak foraging for ground insects, remembering that day at the zoo, until I feel a nick in the glass. It doesn't shatter since it's more reprinted goop than any crystalline structure. I work through the weak point like I would wheedle at a cyber vulnerability, and it comes loose. I pry open the glass, cutting myself and cursing, really wishing I had brought gloves. I wipe the pain down with a swipe of Miaways, hoping their advertising holds true and my DNA will not be present, and set the pain aside. I wish she could see this, that she would move a little to show that she is a witness privy to the knowledge of my rescue. But maybe it's better this way. Her movement might impede my attempts at extraction. Plus, I don't want her to witness the forceful separation. Just as I think that, I pull out Weina and she's stuck. I groan. So much for a clean extraction. I pull again and peer around her waist. I realize she's connected by all these color-coded wires to the mixing bowl and then from there to the dispensing mechanism. I didn't realize how outdated the tech was. Didn't they use Qi data for transfer now? I slice those wires with the edge of the ladle with some sawing, frayed wires dangling around her like fall hair. I haul her over my shoulder and carry her away. I see a shadow at a window far away and remember to throw a blanket over her. Weina is surprisingly light. I've rented a room in a condo where I'm making her food. She doesn't eat. She smiles. It's her lifeless, resting smile. I'm trying to find my mom in there. I know she has to be. She must have wormed her way out of the bank vault and entered Weina's system somehow. I know it to be true. After all, the algorithm allows for outside reconstruction. I've added it to it myself. But there are systems of entry jams and overlays, and what her personality is culled from a data pool. It's not simply one intrusive personality, and besides, I've never been able to hack directly into it. I believe that if anyone could do it, it would be my mom. I remake all of the foods that I've tasted in the hollow illuminated tarot kanji. I replay the hollow messages, casting them against various bowls, chopsticks, objects, things that I brought from storage. Weina is as lifeless as ever. Without charge, she looks like just an inorganic printed form, nothing of playfulness and insinuation. I try connecting her to walls and systems, using secure Qi data transfer and other mechanisms, even wires, but nothing takes on. But after all these attempts, one day after trying another rewiring job, after exhausting myself, stringing colors together like a balloon magician, tying up his inflated animals, like that visit to the zoo, making my dad's favorite dish, that Napa cabbage, ginseng, and lotus soup, and I hear a ping. I'm smelling that culmination of sweet bitterness with such a robust but delicate flavor that is so tough to reproduce. When the message flashes on the back of my palm, I drop the ladle as I read the unexpected note. I know where you are. Stay put. I'll be there. Its green glow burns into my retinas. I don't know if it's someone from the company or a message from my mom. I gamble on my mom. I stay put. All these days, ignoring my doc's orders and eating food, heated and tossed cuisine from a gourmet, ground-grown, delivered ingredients, has brought me back to the good old days. Nostalgic moments of the past when the lingering tastes of dinner would be accompanied by the harmony of muffled accusations and yells emanating from my parents' room. I would ignore it and focus on whatever virtual game I was playing at the time. At least we had each other. I wait, the message flashing, radiating off the table surface, off the resting ladle, butterflies dancing in my stomach, my heart beating fast, staring at Weina's ex-propylene's eyelashes and wrists too thin to be of any real humans. I'm waiting for her to animate, to come alive into my world, and I've already arranged our first outing. We would go to Dad's grave together. I take a sip of the lotus soup and spit. My discharge dribbles onto the ladle, onto the floor, on my illuminated back of my palm. The soup tastes off. Is it burnt? I wipe my tongue across my gums. But it doesn't have any of the char taste. If anything, it tastes almost like bland taro kanji, and I don't know why. In my head, the words pop. Vitamin A, 11%. Vitamin C, 3%. Duress, 33%. Polysaccharides, thickening agents, stabilizers, emulsifiers, artificial flavorings. I keep waiting for the word love. I dump it out and start preparing a new batch. It has to be perfect for her deliverance. Thank you so much.
That was lovely.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
that was really sweet. I like that a lot.
That was beautiful. I missed the beginning of it because of bad internet, but when I heard parts of it, it was really stunning.
Thank you.
I think it's going to record just fine, so you can catch up on that tomorrow.
I'm so pleased.
I hope it was fulfilling.
Oh,
It made me so hungry.
I am hungry
Yeah.
now. I am.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
over here, it's almost like midnight snack, so why not?
Yeah, I don't think I have any red bean anything in the pantry, but I can get my 99 ranch tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a good place to go.
And you know what? All this time I had thought it was Napa cabbage, like Napa County, California.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
And
I'm
I
so
looked
glad
it
you
up.
said
No,
this.
it's from a Japanese word. So I've been
Okay.
getting it wrong all this
I mean,
time. Thank you.
it's I feel like when words get converted into English, they can be read in different ways. So I think Napa is probably fine.
That's fine. But yeah, that was sweet, and it was very honest that she wasn't able to just fix it that easily.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote this prior to my mom passing away, and after her passing away, all these stories with my mom, or not my mom, but a mom, and relationships with daughters became much more poignant. And I'm like, where did this even come from before? So, yeah, it's interesting, like looking back at it now.
Well, it's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everyone, that was DA Xiaolin Spires. It is our custom at Story Hour to take a moment between the readings to just finish absorbing the first story and take a breath and be ready for the next one. So that's what I'm going to do now. More stories. Our next reader tonight is Tashan Mehta. Tashan Mehta is the author of Mad Sisters of Esi and The Liar's Weave, which was shortlisted for the Prabhat Khaitan Woman's Voice Award. Her short stories have featured in Magical Women, The Glance Book of South Asian Science Fiction Volume 2, and Podcastle. She was the fellow at the 2015 and 2021 Sangam House International Writers Residency in India and writer in residence at Anglia Ruskin University in the UK. In 2019, she participated in Fieldwork O.2. I should have asked how you say that exactly. Multidisciplinary, a multidisciplinary residency that explored alternative infrastructures for the future. She was commissioned by the Barbican, UK, to create an artifact on unknown things based on this experience. More recently, she was invited to CERN Idea Square, Switzerland, alongside other writers and scientists to develop stories that can communicate new age technologies to the public. You can find her at tashanmehta.com. Welcome, Tashan Mehta. This is so cool. I'm so happy that you're joining us.
I'm delighted too. This is really lovely. I love that this exists and we get to do this. It makes me think of the old times when we all sat around a fire. It's really great.
That is indeed what Daniel was going for. He always says that the second oldest entertainment in the world. Telling each
Absolutely.
other lies around the fire is how he puts it.
It's aptly put. Absolutely. And stories carry so much, don't they?
They do. The lies that tell the truth. I don't remember who said it first, but I heard it from Neil Gaiman.
That's beautiful.
So what lies and
Okay.
truths have you brought for us tonight?
So today I'm actually reading a story about mothers and daughters as well. It's a relationship that's deeply close to my heart. And it's called Rulebook for Creating a Universe. And it was published in Magical Women. And yeah, I think the relationship between mother and daughter is literally at the core of the story.
Wonderful.
Amazing. Okay, so should I go ahead and read?
Yes, please.
Rulebook for Creating a Universe. In an island that floats at the beginning of time, there is a rulebook for creating a universe. This book is old, with instructions on how to make forever worlds. It says, when stitching a universe, think carefully about the kind of sun you want. Will it be hot or cold, moss or vein? The sun will last forever, and your planetary color palettes will depend on it. Choose wisely. Follow the blueprint. Beloved, you know this story. You know Yukti is a weaver on this island before time, and she hates weaving. Her mother must put the lotus stalk in her hand, and even then she will scowl at the water until her mother says, faster, Mumu, we don't own time. So Yukti, who also hates the nickname Mumu, will snap open the stalk to reveal filaments of silver that she thinks look like spit. These are the fibers of time. She will rub them together to make a thread and begin stitching the banana leaf she is assigned. This is how a single universe is made. On this island, one leaf at a time. Leaves make a tree, trees and rivers make a planet, planets create a galaxy, and galaxies form a universe. Small to large. This is what Yukti's mother tells her as she brushes her daughter's hair at night. She wants Yukti to apply herself. We're doing good work, Mumu. Her daughter leans back into her chest, happy. Are you listening to me? Her daughter shakes her head, giggling. You're not listening to me, you shaitan. Her mother tickles her until Yukti squeals. On the days her mother takes pity on her, Yukti is sent to harvest the lotuses. This she loves. She's the only girl on the boat, but she belongs. Even the men know it. They send her into thick patches of lotuses where the boat cannot push its nose, and she wades among petals as large as her torso. The water, which is biting cold, grows warmer when she clutches a lotus stem, then hot when she holds a slippery knife and hacks through it. Her brother tells her in whispers that this is because the lotuses go all the way down to the beginning of time. There's nothing in her life until now, nothing really, that explains why the lotuses one day bend their heads and begin talking to her. Yukti doesn't understand the lotus's language. It is color that blooms across her mind, the scent of faint perfume, trails of thought that writhe and curl like reeds. It changes her. One day she blinks and the island dissipates, breaking into a zillion fine particles of gold dust. She blinks again and the world coalesces, regrowing its outline. She trembles. She begins to dream of volcanoes. She doesn't know what a volcano is. They've never made one on the island. She tries to describe it to her brother, and he tells her that she means a melted sun, that's all. So she starts thinking of suns. Apoy, why can't we make suns? Her best friend Apoy puts down the fern she's stitching and thinks. They're sitting on a platform that floats in the endless water of their island. Water and lotuses, that's all their island before time is made of. Apoy thinks hard. It's not a normal question. No one here asks these things. But Apoy is the best student in the village, and so she finds an answer. Because suns are big and require strength, she explains. Boys are stronger. Girls have deft fingers and so can stitch forests and rivers. Yukti wasn't looking for the textbook version. We can do it too, she says surly, but under her breath. Apoy doesn't hear. The rulebook for creating universe talks about lotuses. It says, beware. Lotuses may shimmer and turn to gold dust when you hold them. Ignore this. Hold fast and cut the stalk as low as you can reach. If the lotuses talk, don't listen. Never listen. Yukti has listened. Ma, yes, Mumu? Why don't you make suns? Her mother stops stirring her lotus too. She's more perceptive than Apoy, so she says, why do you ask? But Yukti knows this is a sidestepping tactic. Have you tried? She asks. She doesn't know that her voice is going shriller, as it does when she's upset. No, her mother says gently, but why not? Aggressive now. Because I don't want to. Her mother continues stirring the stew, deciding that the best way to deal with this tantrum is to ignore it. I don't believe you. Yukti, I don't believe you. And if you had tried, only tried, then maybe I could stitch them too. Yukti is sent to bed without supper. She lies on her mat and feels her skin boil, itching to erupt. She's filled with bottomless want. She wants to know who decided the things she could do and could not do. She wants to scream. The lotus voices whisper. Later, when her mother kneels by her mat and asks if she wants her hair brushed, Yukti says no with venom. And she cries into her mother's lap with large heaving sobs as her mother strokes her hair soothingly. They stop Yukti going out with the boats. Her mother tries to hide her madness from the village, but they learn of it. Yukti is now seeing 3 of everything. She's saying nonsense words in her sleep. The elders meet and remember the teachings of their ancestors. They have an important task on this island. They are responsible for all of creation. Each task in their society has been carefully crafted to fulfill this purpose of building universes. Each person must play their role. A girl must never go to the lotus fields. It only spreads disaster. The elders visit Yukti's family. They tell her father to mind his daughter. They comfort Yukti's mother, who trembles at what Yukti may become. That night, after the elders leave, the mother makes lotus tea. She sits alone in the dark, steeping over the problem. She knows her baby better than anyone else. The elders think the problem is some small, vague babbling, but she knows how far it has gone. Her daughter's eyes are seeing further than they are meant to see. Her grandmother got like that once. They blinded her in fear. She cannot let that happen to her baby. From then on, she watches Yukti like a hawk. She makes a weave and a cushion opposite her in her shadow. If Yukti goes to play, she follows. Her brother is forbidden to tell her sister folk tales. Her husband is made to wash all traces of lotuses off him before entering the house. Yukti doesn't complain. Instead, she weaves better. She stops talking in her sleep and smiles when she's supposed to, even though the smile doesn't reach her eyes. Once, her mother catches her drawing a mountain with a hollow inside, but when she blinks, Yukti has rubbed the drawing away, and she doesn't know if she imagined it. She must have. Yukti becomes the best weaver in the village. She is praised. Neighbors drop in at the house to admire her work and stay until they are offered free tea. Yukti's mother pretends to be proud. She thinks of the hollow mountain and wishes her daughter's smile would reach her eyes. And one day, Yukti glances up from the glow lamp as she kneels beside her mat and looks, really looks, at her mother. Yukti's eyes are wide, as large as the day her mother gave birth to her. And she says, "Ma," and holds out her arms. Her mother collapses into them. She holds her daughter close, pressing her nose into her daughter's neck, breathing in. When Yukti pulls away and smiles, it reaches her eyes. That night, Yukti's mother brushes her hair slowly and languidly. They drink lotus tea. They laugh, warm in their love for each other. Then, when the sky is covered with gold black, Yukti slips out of her mat, past her sleeping family who dream dreams of the content, down the stairs and into the cold, where she ties the boat from its moorings and slips it, eel-like, into the catfish black water. You know where she is going. The rulebook for creating universe talks a lot about lotuses. It has 570 rules on the flowers, all of them warnings. Rule 89 is in bold. It says, "You are not a hero. Lotuses seduce. You are not immune to that seduction. Stay humble and work with the group. Stitch with direction, with the softness of certainty. Never stray." The water is emptier than Yukti remembers. Across each mile of grass, she sees ghosts of lotuses now cut. Their dead forms leave gold dust in the air. Yukti knows she's the only one who can see this, just like she's the only one who notices that the stalks the boats bring back are yellow. The lotuses are dying. The village is farming too far and too fast. Time is running out. She wishes her mother could see. When the lotuses appear, they do so suddenly. Yukti is dwarfed by their petals, each flower eager to touch her skin. They are happy. They have been waiting for her. Her boat is nose forward with trembling lotus pads. Petal tips play with her hair. She laughs. She feels alive, understood. All her fear disappears. The boat comes to a halt. Yukti waits. Nothing happens. The lotuses watch her. She watches them. Gold dust floats as if on the breath of an invisible creature. Yukti grows sleepy and leans against the side of the boat. Gently, almost listlessly, she dips her fingers in. The water erupts. Gold fans out in all directions. Something wraps around her wrist and yanks her in. She thrashes, panicked, but the more stems curl around her legs and arms. She fights. She opens her mouth to say, please, but water pours down her gullet. The lake closes over her head with a whoosh. The last thing she sees is the lotuses, hazy through the water. They look hungry. In the beginning, there were ideas. They steamed across the void as gold particles, content to go nowhere. When similar ideas began to coalesce, they moved out of the neat lines they formed and clustered into a logical order. This idea first, that particle second, and so on. In this way, they made time. These threads spun themselves into an island floating in a void. They curled into seeds and became lotuses so they could open their faces to the void, feel its cool touch. They wanted to have faces. They called to their brothers and sisters still journeying across the void. They asked them to join the island and feel what it was to be. Several did. They rained down and melted and bumped into the lake you now drown in. They even made you, bronze-skinned and yellow-eyed, gave you only one command, make. But you listened wrong. Why are you telling me this? Yukti asked. She's floating in water that is golden, green, and blue in different shimmers, like it cannot make up its mind. She isn't breathing, so she must be dead. The heart of the island is staring like her, like she is anything but. Why did you come to us? The heart asks. Yukti doesn't know how to translate her yearning into the lotus's language. She wants to burst out of her skin and flower into a jungle so complex no one could weave it. So instead she says, you are dying. You heard wrong, the heart says. When did we ask you to snap us open and weave with our innards? What use is dead time to you, silver like old hair? You were meant to shape the void as we shaped you, by tilting your head to the sky and listening to where ideas wanted to go. When did you grow deaf? Yukti wakes because she has to vomit. She vomits, emptying all the water in her, and she curls up onto the boat's smooth belly and waits for morning. When it comes, she holds the paddle in her shivering hand and rows home. It takes her longer because she is tired and the paddle keeps slipping from her grip. When she pulls into the village, it is almost afternoon. Her community watches her. They discovered Yukti was missing in the middle of the night. Her brother raised the alarm. When her mother found the boat gone, her heart sank. But by then, it was too late. The village's activities lie abandoned. Villagers stand grave at the edges of their stilted houses. Yukti can see a boy, her eyes like petrified pebbles, her mouth forming a similar O. Yukti doesn't stop. She rows until she reaches her house. When she climbs the stairs slowly, she finds her mother waiting for her. When she dips through the doorway, her mother backs up against the wall, terrified. In the house's cool interior, Yukti realizes why. She is glowing. Mumu? Yukti nods. Where were you, Mumu? Her mother takes a step forward. This girl is her baby, her beloved baby who kept trying to eat her thumbs when she was born and who laughs like a drunken man in great big hiccuping hiccups. She will not be scared of her. Yukti tells her. She knows she must go to the elders with this story, but she wants to tell her mother. Besides, she's only 14, and her parents are still an authority of a sort, even though it is not spelt with a capital A. So she describes how universes are being built with dead time, spinning suns that cannot die and so do not truly live. Nothing will change in those galaxies. Trees will not grow or shed leaves, rivers will not swell or fade. Mountains will always know only one height, the height the villagers gave them. In time, the dye will fade to reveal the silver weave from which the worlds were made. Then this too will grow pale, caking into white ash. Creation will spin with burnt remains until these two will flake and be swallowed by the void. Her mother closes her eyes. Her child is mad. So Yukti shows her. She unfurls the hand she's kept clutched this whole time to reveal a lotus bud, its petals parted in surprised and embarrassed breath, its roots intact. She lifts it to her lips and blows. Gold dust, settles into her mother's eye. Beloved, you have been in this story. Versions of it play across time on loop. It's in your bones. So remember, breathe through your fear and pull up the strands of this story. The elders will not listen. There's Yukti clutching onto her mother as they pull her away. She's frightened, confused. She's telling them what they cannot see. She's only trying to save them. Why won't they listen? She finds no answer. Her mother is hysterical. She's fighting with the villagers, trying to get to her child. She's saying it's only make-believe. She doesn't mean it. She takes it back. Yukti's father is shouting. Yukti's brother tries to reach his parents and find the crowd shrinks from him, like he's diseased. Yukti looks for a boy in the pandemonium, the smartest person in the village, her best student. You have to listen to them, she shouts, hoping her best friend can hear her. She will understand. You have to let it become. A boy looks away. After that, Yukti stops fighting. They drag her out. Yukti is branded hysterical. Her mother is blamed from this new epidemic of lotus madness. Her father is disciplined, her brother ostracized. If you look closely, you can see her mother's eyes grow hard in a way that scares Yukti's father. You can hear the echoes of Yukti's last words as they tie her to a boat rippling in the still air. Listen. Why won't you just listen? Fear hardens. The community pulls together. Tribes draft the rulebook for creating a universe. Artists sketch the first official blueprint. Copies are made. Keepers are appointed. The rulebook is taught in special schools. Children quiz children on its details, a game. Girls who stitch leaves make sure they copy the veins exactly. Precision is praised. And Yukti, the girl who won't stop glowing, is locked in a house built specifically for her, far away from the village. She is left to starve. But she doesn't starve. She eats the gold dust she can scoop from the water by thrusting her hands into the gap in the floor. She listens to her heart shrink until she believes it cannot get any smaller. She stares out of the window as the lotus fields dwindle. They're crying out for her help. She has nothing left to give. All this is the story. Now remember the parts they don't tell you. Like how everything is built like a volcano. Planets, universes, bodies, with molten chains sitting in our bellies. How the lock on Yukti's jail clicks one night and the door pops open. How 5 women stand in the doorway, carved by the amber moon. A silhouette of a lotus flower, now fully grown and its roots trailing to the floor, hangs from one of their hands. Some things, Yukti's mother says as she presses her daughter to her chest and they cry with an emotion that cannot be held in language, can only be done in silence at night. 6 women stand waist deep in empty water. Gold whirls around them. Yukti turns to her mother, her glow faint now, and says in a small voice, I don't know what to do. But her mother is having none of this. She runs her fingers through Yukti's hair, feeling the strands knot beneath her knuckles. Her baby. You only have to listen, she says. Her voice is so sure and full of love, it steadies Yukti. Yukti takes a deep breath and closes her eyes. They build a universe out of gold dust, collecting it in their palms from the water. The particles flock to them, eager. The women shape with their fingers, asking the particles which ones they would like to join with. Yukti's yearning fills her. It mixes with her fear and her hope. Who knows what tomorrow will bring? She may never see another light or get this chance again. So she crumbles her fear and gives in to her yearning, letting it rise in her like a molten wave. She pours into the universe she's shaping. When the articles in her hand begin to vibrate, she knows they will never be content to stay in a single sequence. Women weave small and fine and tight so that when they are done, the whole universe sits in Yukti's palm, no bigger than a gold speck. Clutching it very gently in her nails, Yukti pulls her arm back as far as it will go. She flings the speck into the void, where it disappears. The rulebook for creating a universe mentions Yukti only once. It does not take her name. It says, remember the girl who tried to steal time to weave a universe. Remember that in her universes, sons die and they call God a woman. Do not let that be your daughter. Yukti's seed pushed deep into the void skin will burst. It will carry colors of its own. The particles in it will link and dissolve and link again into formations that will burn our eyes when viewed through our telescopes. It will create mountains that crush us and ocean depths we cannot touch. It will spiral up and down and up the dunes of existence. We will keep trying to cross them. it will have volcanoes. But let us leave grandeur to science. Let us leave language to itself. Get up and go into the sun, beloved, to the edge of the world that houses you. You are on a beach. You have spent the morning scared of a future you cannot predict. You have spent the afternoon trying to map out different possibilities to create a rulebook of your own. You have prayed to this universe for the only thing it cannot give you: certainty. Now let it go. Breathe in the salt. Watch the gold glint on the crest of a wave. Then walk to where the crabs make their maps and the sea tries to drown them. Let a wave recede and press your toe into the wet sand it leaves behind. Watch it erupt into gold. This is your inheritance. Listen. All done?
Oh, that was beautiful.
That was gold. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist the pun.
It's a great, great expression. It's a story very, very dear to me because it was written at a time when I was very lost, and I was trying to search for certainty. You know how when you start a story, it has nothing to do with what you're going through, and then it ends up with exactly the message you need to hear.
Because it can't do anything else.
Yeah, I love stories. They're so alive.
It
They
was so
are.
haunting, but beautiful, and such intriguing cosmology. It was wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing it.
Oh, thank you so much for listening.
I was thinking the same thing after you finished Nutrition Facts. It's funny how stories, especially when we're writing them, give us this sort of even subconscious therapy that we don't even catch until months or years later. And it takes those sort of hinge events of losing a parent or whatever it might be to really realize what you've worked through in a story. And I find that's so true for my own work, that you start with the image or the thing that's really interesting to you, and only later do you figure out all the emotions that are attached to that and sort of piece the story together from there, which is a process that I never get tired of. So,
And it's one of the reasons that we work with complete stories at Story Hour and not excerpts, because we get a complete thought, a complete feeling. And even if it makes us sad or if it's distressing, it's easier to contain and deal with. And we're not just left hanging. I mean, it's interesting too that both of these stories, not only were they about mothers and daughters, they were about not being able to attain everything.
Yeah, letting go.
Not getting that perfect thing, and yet that being all right. And that's just such a very real thing.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard that from a lot of people, especially in the wake of the eclipse and sort of coming out of pandemic feelings more and more. I think more and more people are, or at least the people around me are trying to let go of past hurts and past like things that you're clinging to, ideas and plans and things that you cling to. Feels like there's a lot of letting go in the world.
I think if you write as well, and that's what I love. I'm a very slow writer, but everything you create becomes this snapshot of what you were sort of working through or experiencing or feeling very deeply at that time. So sort of like a time machine, which I think I especially love with any piece that you sort of explore. But I fully agree with you, Laura. There's a lot of just not getting that exact thing that you wanted, and realizing that in the not getting is the specialness. And is the beauty.
Yeah. And I'm just amazed. You two didn't know each other, right?
No, not at all. But I love that they connected.
We totally planned this. We were doing it behind the scenes.
Oh, hello, sweetie. Somebody else has something to say about the parent-child relationship. Someone's ducking in and out.
He just likes it when people laugh.
That is a very good trait in a human. I like it.
It's a lovely trait. Yeah.
Well, some of us humans will be back again next week. Unfortunately, Tashan and Xiaolin won't be reading, although you're welcome to come and watch anytime you like. Come and hang out. I will be here running tech, and Sam Reveline is going to be our guest host. And it's going to be horror night. We're going to have Eliane Wui and Adi Sway reading. As always, I recommend checking storyhour2020.com the day of, just in case there are going to be any changes, because if there are any, that's where they go. And storyhour2020.com also is cool because it has the calendar, so you can look and see who's coming up next and next after next, as far out as we're scheduled. You can also watch any of the programs that you may have missed, or watch this one a few more times on the Story Hour page on Facebook. Tashan Mehta, D.A. Xiaolin Spires, thank you so much for sharing your stories with us tonight. This was really magical.
Thank you. This was beautiful. It was such a joy.
Thank you so much too. I agree. It was a wonderful time.
Well, I hope you'll both come back again. Thank you as always to Daniel Marcus, who is off tonight, but will be back, and to Sam Reveline for helping out. And to all of you who are here now, all of you who are joining us at some time in the future, because as long as you watch and enjoy these stories, we're all together in the same story hour.